Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So, we were discussing 6 verse, no? Yes. Dhautatma Purusha Krishna Padam Mulam Manchati Mukta Sarva Pariklesha Panta Sva Sharanam Yatha. So we are discussing how Parikshit Maharaj is inspiring Shukdev Goswami to, do more and more Krishna Katha. Okay. So we discussed how Swacheshchitam is so important. Okay. Even in Nectar of Instruction, which verse talks about the stage of Ruchi? Taste for the holy name. Syat Krishnam Charitadi. So what is the remedy given to how we can develop the taste for the holy name? Yes, Kintu Adarat Anudinam. So that is applicable for all the limbs of devotional service. Adarat Anudinam. Swacheshita means continuously keep on practicing that limb with respect. Then then Krishna will bestow the taste. Even if you don't have the taste, respectfully keep on doing that continuously, anudinam, regularly, nityam, and adarat, with respect. So then this 6th verse is saying, कि once who has tasted the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord, he will never leave the lotus feet. But Jagajivan Prabhu raised the point, but we see devotees living Krishna consciousness. So how to understand that? So, is there any verse in Bhagavatam where it talks about that the devotees who are leaving the Krishna's lotus feet, Krishna brings them back? Yeah, that is after that.
Remember that ecstasy again and again.
Yeah, 1.5.19. You can open that verse. 1.5.19.
Navai Jano Jato Katanchana Bhajan Mukunda Sevyanyavangas Sanskritam
Smaran Mukundangare Upaguhyam Nampuna Vihatum Miche Na Ras Graho Jana. Translation. My dear Vyas, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes falls down, somehow or the other he certainly does not undergo material existence like other fruity workers, because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus with the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. So Prabhupada is writing, out of foolishness, some devotee may opt for sense gratification, may leave Krishna consciousness in the hope of better happiness, but he'll suffer like anything. But his suffering will not be the suffering of a karmi. There's a difference between the suffering of an orphan and the suffering of a son of a king. So devotee is never orphaned. Okay? But Krishna makes it sure that he comes back. Krishna will make his life so miserable. If he is receiving more mercy of Krishna, he'll come back to Krishna's lotus feet in this life only. Okay? And not so much mercy, he'll come back to Krishna's lotus feet in the next life. Yog bhrashta vijayate. So that way, in a way, for a devotee, there is never a fall down. We may see for some time or for some births, the devotional service is covered. But it's never fall down. It never fell. So we should never discuss about the fall down of a devotee. Oh, uska pata kya hoga, maya mein gir gaya. वो नहीं गिरेगा, हम जरूर गिर जाएंगे डिस्कस करके. We don't know. Someone may have done something out of past sanskaras. Krishna doesn't take it so seriously. Krishna will bring him back, surely. But if we discuss about that, Krishna takes it as a serious offense. So one should be very, very careful in such cases. Very, very careful. Normally what happens, he will come back, but persons who discuss about that, it's very difficult for them to come back. Because once we commit this kind of offense, then when we commit offense, such a serious Vaishnava offense, it is said that we go back to the stage prior to the stage of Shraddha. All our spiritual credits, all our sukritis are taken away. So dangerous. Aparadha is so dangerous. Okay? So it's like a fighting with Maya. Performing Krishna consciousness means it's a battle with Maya. So some soldiers may get hurt, no problem. But they never die. They'll come back. So in that way, we should be very, very careful. When someone has slipped, no problem. So we should be sympathetic towards that person, and not to discuss about that. हाँ.
दुराचार वाला जो वर्ष है, कैसे समझना चाहिए? कभी-कभी देखते हैं कि डिवोटी कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस छोड़ते भी नहीं है और दुराचार भी करते रहते हैं। तो कैसे उनको साबित करना चाहिए?
कृष्ण मान रहे हैं ना, कृष्ण उनको टॉलरेट कर रहे हैं। तो जब तक कृष्ण टॉलरेट करें, हम भी टॉलरेट करें, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। ऐसे में विष्णु ठाकुर जी बोलते हैं कि ऐसे वैष्णव का हम संग ना करें, उनकी निंदा ना करें। ठीक है, उनके बिहेवियर से हमें कन्फ्यूज़न होता है, डिस्करेजमेंट मिलता है। सो वी डोंट एसोशिएट विद सच डिवोटीज, बट फ्रॉम अ डिस्टेंस वी से हरे कृष्णा वांछा कल्पते, बस। डोंट एसोशिएट एंड नो नीड टू डिस्कस ऑल्सो। किस जीव का कृष्ण से क्या चल रहा है सेटिंग मालूम नहीं है ना। और एंड भक्ति इज वेरी इंटरनल, वी डोंट नो Krishna has what opinion for what jiva, we don't know ना। कृष्ण इतने साल रखे हुए हैं ना उसको मुँह काफ़ी साल हम देखते हैं, ऐसे दिखता है, ऐसे कैसे हैं ये सब। तो and if we are thinking about some devotees, and some devotees may be thinking the same thing about us also ये कैसे साधु हैं, ऐसा भी हो सकता है। हाँ, ऐसा भी संभव है। तो इसलिए बेटर है कि फॉर विद सच डिवोटीज वी डोंट एसोशिएट, बट वी रिस्पेक्ट, इट्स अ सेफर थिंग। या
हरे कृष्णा जी। डिवोटीज कम्युनिटी में देखते हैं मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, एक साथ ही रहते हैं। तो आउट ऑफ मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग जो वैष्णव अपराध रहते हैं उनकी क्या ग्रेविटी रहती है? तब जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मुरलीचरण हु इज नॉट रॉन्ग बट आई एम थिंकिंग दैट ही इज रॉन्ग, सो इन दैट वे लाइक व्हाट severity such offenses?
Offense is always there, but severity will be less. If it is done out of envy, that's a serious offense. Out of communication gap, out of misunderstanding, it may be there, but still it is an offense. So there is a story of Rupa Goswami. His Leela Smaran gets disrupted. There was no intention. Why that story is there? Just to tell us about the seriousness, how seriously we should take the opinions of the other devotees, feelings of the other devotees. So we will always see Prabhu misunderstanding, but we should be very careful not to have this kind of misunderstandings. We should always be careful to have clear communications. But if it is done out of envy, intentional, surely it will have more repercussions. Okay, so moving forward. Now from 7th verse he will start asking questions. Till 6th verse he was showing his inclination, he wants to hear more katha. Now when one wants to hear more katha, he would give some lead to the speaker, some lead, Like Chaitanya Prabhu is asking me to give Bhagavatam class. Prabhu kuch Bhagavatam katha karo. Batao to si Prabhu kya karna hai? Please give me the verse number. I'm sorry, like that. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj wants to hear more from Sukadeva Goswami, so he's giving him leads. Okay, so now he'll be asking 21 questions, and these questions are very, very vague questions. It will be about creation, about Virat Purush. It will not be about Lord Krishna's confidential pastimes. So one day Hari wonder why Parikshit Maharaj is asking such questions. He's about to give up his body. Let's talk about esoteric subject matters only. Why he is asking such questions? Purush avatars, Virat Purush, creation, all Kal, Karma, everything he's asking all these questions. The topics which we don't like to discuss so much, but he's asking these questions. Why? Any idea? And can you guess why he's asking such questions?
For the welfare of people.
Yeah, for the welfare of people. Very good. Yes.
To understand the supremacy of the Lord, then later he want to hear about the Krishna,
Yeah.
by hearing the creation, or he can understand.
Yes, that is also good, because in the 7th chapter also you must have heard, that every devotee should hear Krishna's pastime with the external energy faithfully. That's a good way to get rid of the Maya. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Tattva ras, then one understand the tattva, then you can
Relish the rasa. Yeah. And especially in that gathering, many kinds of sages were there. Yogis were there, impersonalists was there, mixed devotees were there. So Parikshit Maharaj is so compassionate. So compassionate. He's not just bothered about himself. See, normally we have some ailment in our body, some discomfort in our body, we become so self-absorbed, self-conscious. And Parikshit Maharaj is about to leave his body. Still he is not self-absorbed. Still he is thinking about the others. That shows the height of compassion. And he says, he knows that so many sages, varieties of people are there in this assembly. If I just straight away talk about, pure devotional service, these people will not feel connected. They will अच्छा है चलते हैं, ठीक है जी चलते हैं, they'll feel bored and get away. Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj, they talk about pure devotional service only. They don't know anything about yoga. I know yoga is also supreme, so let me perform yoga only. So they won't feel connected, and though they won't get a chance to elevate themselves also. Okay, so Parikshit Maharaj is teaching us a very wonderful principle as a preacher. When we are taking care of subordinates, or when we are delivering lecture on a Sunday feast, or in a gathering where mixed people kind of crowd is there, so we should give them engagement as per their qualifications also, and we should give them an opportunity to elevate their qualification also. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking such questions. These questions will be about yoga, impersonalism, Virat Purush, Purush Avatar. So all those people will feel connected. Yes. They are talking in my language. Okay. So they are getting engagement as per their qualification. At the same time, Parikshit Maharaj is facilitating that they should hear from a lotus mouth of a pure devotee like Sukadeva Goswami. And when they hear such thing from the Sukadeva Goswami pure devotee, so they will elevate their consciousness also. It will help them to elevate their consciousness, their qualification will be raised also. So they'll go to the next stage. Okay, if you just ask questions, if you just give engagement as per the qualification, no facility for elevation, that is also not good. हमेशा बेसिक ही बेसिक बोलते रहो, ऐसा crowd है, खाली बेसिक ही बोलते रहो, ठीक है, they'll feel connected, they'll feel satisfied, we are doing well, there's no hope for, we are well situated, no need of going further. They feel self-satisfied. Okay, and if we just talk higher topics, they won't feel connected and they will leave. Okay, so similarly, Parikshit Maharaj was so compassionate that all the sages should hear as per their qualification also. At the same time, they get a chance to hear from Sukadeva Goswami and elevate their consciousness also. Okay, so that way he asks about 21 questions, which is about mixed bhakti, which is about bhakti mixed with yoga, bhakti mixed with karma, bhakti mixed with gyan. All these questions should be there. Right? Clear? So we'll start. Yat dhatu mato brahman deharambho swadhatu bi yadrichaya hetuna va bhavanto janate yatha. Yes.
O learned Brahman, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally, or by some cause. Will you kindly explain this? For it is known to you.
Yeah, so soul is adhatu. Soul is non-matter. Yat adhatu mato brahman. Soul is considered to be not materially constituted. How does it come in contact with the dehe? By chance or by some other cause? Okay, this is his question. So, purport please.
Maharaj Parikshit, being a typical devotee, is not satisfied by simply confirming the importance of hearing in the Srimad Bhagavatam from the representative of Brahmaji and disciplic succession. But he is still more anxious to establish the philosophical basis of Srimad Bhagavatam.
That means he is not for the dogmatic approach. Dogmatic approach turns off the people. Yahi theek hai, khatam baat. So it won't give a chance. So it's very closed approach. So it's very exclusive. It's not an approach of inclusiveness. Okay? Yes.
Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as much as such, all questions that may arise in the mind of a serious student must be cleared by the statements of the authority. A person on the path of devotional service may inquire from his spiritual master all about the spiritual position of God and the living beings. From the Bhagavad Gita as well as from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is known that qualitatively the Lord and living being are one. The living being in the conditioned state of material existence is subjected to many transmigrations by continuous changing of the material body. But what are the causes of the material embodiment of the part and parcel of the Lord? Maharaj Parikshit inquires about this very important matter for the benefit of all classes of candidates on the path of self-realization and devotional service to the Lord.
Yeah. Next paragraph, last paragraph, in the process of devotional service.
Hare Krishna. Indirectly, it is confirmed that
next paragraph.
In the process of devotional service, the first step is to take shelter of the spiritual master and then inquire from the spiritual master all about the process. This inquiry is essential for immunity to all kinds of offenses on the path of devotional service. Even if one is fixed in devotional service, like Maharaj Parikshit, he must still inquire from the realized spiritual master.
It's very important. So whenever you're meeting a senior devotee, when you're meeting advanced Vaishnava, we should have questions. We should ask questions. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, it is a swabhava of a sadhu to inquire. Sadhu means he's always inquiring. Why he inquires? To confirm the matter, to be more committed. One is always trying to improve his chanting. Whomsoever he'll meet, Prabhu, please tell me something, some tips about how to improve the chanting. How to develop taste for Srimad Bhagavatam. Although he has taste, but he'll always ask because he wants to develop more. So this is the nature of a sadhu. So even though Parikshit Maharaj is self-realized, still is asking questions. And very important point Prabhupada is bringing about, this inquiry is essential for immunity to all kinds of offenses. It's very important. How to elaborate? Anyone like to elaborate on this statement? This inquiry is essential for immunity to all kinds of offenses on the path of devotional service. Yes, Jagajivan, always inquiring. Yeah.
When we inquire from the senior devotees, they most of the time this is the same advice: avoid the Vaishnava offenses and all. This advice is like almost progress in life. So this may be the one reason.
Okay. Yes, this may be one reason. Okay. Anyone else, please?
Like when we inquire, that devotees also give their blessings along their answer, so we can follow it.
Yeah, along with when we inquire, we get the blessings also. Yes, Prabhu.
So when we inquire, we become we asking as a humble mode, so that increases decrease our arrogant nature.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
We are like this point only, Prabhu. When we sometimes we think we know everything.
Yeah.
That's why we are not asking anything.
Yeah.
When we start to ask something, that time we reduce our this ego or something.
Yes. Okay. What else? Yes, there you go, Prabhu.
when we ask a question to senior devotees, they may, all the senior devotees, they may answer the same answer. They may tell us, but from this very particular devotee we get blessings through his answer.
Okay. Yes, Chaitanya Prabhu.
Two things come to mind. One thing is, when we inquire from the devotees, they get a chance to say something to us.
Yeah.
And they may point out what going wrong in our life, indirectly or directly. And second thing was, when we inquire in such a way, it means we are introspective.
Yeah.
When we are introspective, then we act, not act whimsically.
Whimsically. Be careful. Yeah. Very good. Yes, Prabhuji.
When we inquire from different devotees, so different devotees have different realization in their life. So we can get those realization in our life, and these realizations makes our immunity, and it will strong us in our devotion.
Yeah. So all these questions are good. When we inquire, so we become humble, we share, we get their blessings, we get to know their realizations. And inquiring means I'm trying to, who will inquire? Who is hearing, reading seriously, who is trying to apply that knowledge in his life, he will have a lot of questions. In the beginning of our Krishna consciousness, we had so many questions. Because we were sincerely trying to apply. Whatever we used to hear, we used to apply. Hare, how to do that? I'm facing difficulty, again I'll inquire. But after a few years, we think, okay, chalta hai. Even if I'm not able to apply 100%, no problem. ठीक है, कोई बात, चलते हैं. So that kind of attitude comes sometimes. So our questions go down. And basic philosophy we have already understood. Basic philosophy we know that, we know everything, that kind of a thing is there. But if we are sincerely trying to apply, application of knowledge brings humility. Vidya dadati vinayam. But if you are not trying to apply, it will increase our ego. So that is the difference only. Hiranyakashipu had so much of knowledge. Hiranyakashipu was preaching to his sister-in-law, Hiranyak's wife. He was whole second chapter of Bhagavad Gita he related. Body, difference between body and soul and everything. But application of knowledge. Okay, so when you're trying to apply knowledge, we are always trying to be humble and we'll have a lot of questions. Okay, so that will provide us immunity from offenses. And secondly, when we inquire, now Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring from Shukdev Goswami. The main purpose is to bring out the glories of bhakti. Without mixture of bhakti, no process can give us the result. Whether it is karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga. So glories of bhakti. But if that bhakti is performed with offenses, then it won't give result. Okay? So more we inquire, more we understand the glories of bhakti, glories of devotees, more we will be careful in dealing with that. Okay? So more we read and hear scriptures, everywhere glory of bhakti is there, glory of devotees are there, so we will be very careful. But if you are not inquiring, philosophy is not clear, then we may commit offenses. Siddhant balya chitte na karya alas. Yah is sudrid lagi, sudrid manas. Okay, that way. Right. And then Prabhupada is writing, in other words, the spiritual master must also be well versed and learned so that he may be able to answer all these inquiries from the devotees. Thus, one who is not well versed in the authorized scriptures and not able to answer all such relevant queries should not pose as a spiritual master for the matter of material gain. It is illegal to become a spiritual master if one is unable to deliver the desire. Okay, next. Asid yad udarat padmam loka sanstana lakshanam yavan ayam vai purusha itta iyata va ayavai pathak Dava nasva hiti prokta sansthanam yaman eva. Yes, Prabhuji. Padi.
If the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement, then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living entities?
So the first question was, how does this jiva who is spiritual get a body which is material? Now he's asking question, what is the difference between the body of a jiva and the body of the Lord? You had described our Virat Purush, and the Virat Purush you have said that Virat Purush has different limbs at the different planets. He has a huge body. That means he has a huge body, jiva has a small body. He also has a body. That means they are alike, or there is some difference in the bodies of the Jiva or the Supreme Lord. Okay, so in the purport, we can please, in the middle of the purport, you can start reading. In the creation of the material world, 7-8 lines down, 6 lines down. In the creation
of the material world, the Supreme Lord undoubtedly assumes a gigantic form, and living entities also get bodies, big or small, according to necessity. For example, an elephant gets a gigantic body according to its needs, and so also an ant gets its body according to its needs. Similarly, if the personality of Godhead assumes a gigantic form to accommodate the universe or the planets of a particular universe, there is no difference in the principle of assuming or accepting a particular type of body in terms of necessity. A living being and the Lord cannot be distinguished simply by the difference in the magnitude of the body. So the answer depends on the specific significance of the body of the Lord as distinguished from the body of the common living entity.
Okay. Aja srijati bhutani bhutatma yaduni grahat dradashe yena tadrupam nabhi padma samudbhava. Yes.
Brahma, who was not born of a material source, but of the lotus flower coming out of the navel in the abdomen of the Lord, is the creator of all those who are materially born. Of course, by the grace of the Lord, Brahma was able to see the form of the Lord.
Okay, yeah. Purport?
The first living entity, Brahma, is called Ajaha because he did not take his birth from the womb of a mother, materially born. He was directly born from the bodily expansion of the lotus flower of the Lord. Thus, it is not readily understandable whether the body of the Lord and that of Brahma are of same quality or different. This must also be clearly understood. One thing is, however, certain. Brahma was completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord because, after his birth, he could create living beings by the Lord's grace only, and he could see the form of the Lord. Whether the form seen by Brahma is one of the same quality as that of Brahma is a bewildering question, and Maharaj Parikshit wanted to get clear answers from Srila Sukadeva Goswami.
So Maharaj Parikshit is asking, he's so compassionate, he's asking very basic things. Normally we see a human gets birth from a human mother, the same type of body. So Brahma is getting birth from the Lord's body, so they must be of the same quality. So is it the same? Previous question was, what is the difference in the body of the Lord and body of Jiva? Brahma is getting the body from the Lord. Is it the same or different? So that way. Okay. Sachapi yatra purusho vishwa sthiti udbhavapyaya muktvatma mayam mayesha shete sarva guhashaya. Yes.
Please also explain the personality of Godhead, who lies in every heart as the Super Soul, and as the Lord of all energies, but is untouched by his external energy.
Yeah. So where does he lie? Shete sarva guhashaya. Where does he lie down? In Karanodakshai Shaga, Kshirodakshai Shaga. So he's asking about Mahavishnu as well as Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Okay. Next. Purusha veva lokai sapalaha purva kalpita lokai ramushya avyaya sapalai riti shushrama.
O learned Brahmana, it was formally explained that all the planets of the universe with their respective governors are situated in the different parts of the gigantic body of the Virat Purusha. I have also heard that the different planetary systems are supposed to be in the gigantic body of the Virat Purusha. But what is their actual position? Will you please explain that?
So this is now he's asking about Virat Purusha. More details. You have already explained, but are there more details? So Vishwanath Thakur is explaining that the first 5 questions. The first question was about how does the Jiva gets a material body? Jiva is spiritual. Second was difference between the body of the Lord and the body of the Jiva. Third was, is the body of the Lord the same as the body of Brahma? Fourth was, where do the Karanodakshai Vishnu and Kshirodakshai Vishnu lie? And fifth was, more details about the Virat Purush. Okay. So Vishwanath Thakur is saying, these 5 questions are meant for those suitable for Shant and Dasya Bhakti. Those who are performing mixed bhakti, with the answer to such questions, they will get Shant and Dasya Bhakti. Okay? It will cater to those people. Okay. Question 12, so verse 12. Yavan kalpo vikalpo va yatha kalo anumiyate bhuta bhavya bhavaschabha ayurmanam cha yat satah.
Also, please explain the duration of time between creation and annihilation, and that of other subsidiary creations, as well as the nature of time indicated by the sound of past, present, and future. Also, please explain the duration and measurement of life of the different living beings known as demigods, the human beings, etc., in different planets of the universe.
Yeah, purport.
Past, present, and future are different features of time to indicate the duration of life for the universe and all its paraphernalia, including the different living beings in different planets.
Yeah, so this will be answered in Maitreya Vidu, in the third canto, dimensions of time, Anu, Parmanu, all this will be answered in third canto. Okay. Kalasya anugateryatu lakshyate anvi brahati api yavatya karma gatyo yadrishi dvijasattama.
O purest of the Brahmanas, please also explain the cause of the different durations of time, both short and long, as well as the beginning of time following the course of action.
Yeah. So it is about time and karma. So Vishwanath Thakur is saying this kind of question is those for who want suitable for the pure bhakti, because by discussing about time we get sense of urgency. Yes, time. So when we discuss about time, so then we get sense of urgency in our sadhana. Okay, and when we discuss about the karma, results of karma, we develop detachment. Okay, because karma means we keep on wandering in this material creation only. So it brings us detachment. Right? Yasmin karm samavayo yatha yena apugriyate gunanam gudinam chaiva parinanam abhipsitam.
Then again, kindly describe how the proportionate accumulation of the reactions resulting from the different modes of material nature act upon the desiring living being, promoting or degrading him among the different species of life, beginning from the demigod down to the most insignificant creatures.
Yeah, so how the different kind of karmas affect different kinds of bodies? Purport, Prabhu, first paragraph.
The actions and reactions of all work in the material modes of nature, either in the minute form or in the gigantic form, are accumulated, and thus the result of such accumulated actions and reactions of karma or work become manifested in the same proportions. How such action and reaction take place, what the different procedures are, and in what proportions they act are all subject matter of Maharaj Parikshit's inquiries from the great Brahmana Sukdev Goswami.
This will be discussed by Lord Kapil Dev, nature of fruity activities, how a jeev wanders in different parts of universe. Okay, then you can come to the second and last paragraph. Even on this planet of our present residence,
even on this planet of our present residence, one cannot achieve a good position within the social order without being qualified with proportionate good work. One cannot forcibly sit on the chair of a high court judge without being qualified for the post. Similarly, one cannot enter into the higher planetary systems without being qualified by good works in this life. Person addicted
to the
habits of passion and ignorance have no chance of entering the higher planetary systems simply by an electronic mechanism.
Continue.
According to the statement of the Bhagavad Gita 9.25, person trying to qualify themselves for promotion to the higher heavenly planets can go there. Similarly, person trying for the Pitralokas can go there. Similarly, person trying to improve the condition on this earth can also do that. And person who are engaged in going back home, back to Godhead, can achieve that result. The various action and reaction of work in the modes of goodness are generally known as pious work with devotional service. Culture of knowledge with devotional service, mystic powers with devotional service, and at last devotional service unmixed with any other varieties of goodness. This unmixed devotional service is transcendental and is called para bhakti. It alone can promote a person to the transcendental kingdom of God. Such a transcendental kingdom is not a myth, but it is as factual as a moon. One must have transcendental qualities to understand the kingdom of God and God Himself.
Yeah. So this is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's purports. Srila Prabhupada's purports, is that based on the commentary of the previous acharyas also. Plus Prabhupada never leaves an opportunity to, take care of all the scientists' claims or Mayavadi's claims. So here Prabhupada got a chance. Just by mechanical means we cannot go to the higher planetary systems. So Prabhupada is stressing that point. So where we'll get a chance to smash Mayavadis, he'll do that also. So Prabhupada's favorites were smashing Mayavadis, smashing Darwins, and smashing scientists' attempts to go to higher planets. Whenever Prabhupada gets a chance, he will do that, plus previous acharya's commentary. That is his purpose. Okay. Bhut patala kakavyoma graha nakshatra bhu vritam sarit samudra dvipanam sambhavas chetad oksasam.
O based of the Brahmanas, please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directions of the heavens, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas and the islands, as well as their different kinds of inhabitants takes place.
So this will be described in 5th canto, Cosmology. Pramanam anda koshasya bhaya bhayantara bhedata mahatam chanu charitam varnashram vinishchaya.
Also, please describe the inner and outer space of the universe by specific divisions, as well as the character and activities of the great souls, and also the characteristics of the different classifications of the castes and orders of society life.
See, so Parikshit Maharaj is asking about the dimensions of the universe also. First paragraph.
Maharaj Parikshit is a typical devotee of Lord Krishna, and as such, he is anxious to know the complete significance of the creations of the Lord. He wants to know the inner and outer space of universal form. It is quite fitting for the real searcher of knowledge to know all about this. Those who are of the opinion that the devotees of the Lord are satisfied with mere sentiments can find in the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit good lessons as to how inquisitive a pure devotee is to know things in their true perfection. The modern scientist is unable to know about the inner space of the universal horizon, and what to speak of the space which covers the universe. Maharaj Parikshit is not satisfied with only material knowledge. He is inquisitive about the character and activities of the great souls, the devotees of the Lord. The glories of the Lord and the glories of his devotees combined together comprise the complete knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Krishna showed his mother the complete universal creation within his mouth, while she completely charmed by her son, wanted to look inside the mouth of the Lord just to see how much earth the child had eaten. By the grace of the Lord, the devotees are able to see everything in the universe within the mouth of the Lord.
Yes, thank you. So what are your comments, how much the devotee should be aware of the material world. How much we should keep ourselves aware of the material world and their happenings. Parikshit Maharaj is so inquiring what is the inner dimension, outer dimension. And he is about to leave his body. Still he is inquiring this. Yes, Prabhuji.
Whatever is useful for preaching, that was awareness is sufficient.
Yeah, whatever is useful for preaching, okay. I used to see Guru Maharaj, whenever someone used to go to meet him, so you are from which field? Oh, you are from oil industry. When I first met him, so you are working in oil company. Okay. So Maharaj asked me so many questions. I was not aware from where the crude oil comes, what is the rate of crude oil going, what do you do in the refinery, how you do that. He was aware of everything. I was not aware. And initially I used to think, Maharaj is such a pure devotee, why he is so much interested in knowing all these things? I am trying to forget all these things, he is trying to remind me all this. But that way, why pure devotees ask like this? First they want to relate. Once they get set a connection, they get connected and then they can elevate that person. So you must also observe all these pure devotees, they have all the knowledge of everything, they know everything of something of everything. So that helps them to make a connection with the people and then elevate their consciousness. Okay. So that way. But one should not go very deep also. There is sometimes when we meet brahmacharis, the brahmacharis are very much aware what is going on in the politics, क्या हो रहा है, किसको सीट मिलेगी, किसको नहीं मिलेगी, क्यों नहीं मिलेगी, क्या हो गया, everything. That is not good. That will disturb our chanting, that will disturb our consciousness. That one should be very careful. And it is very easy to know we have smartphones. So everything is flashed and everyone is attracted to go deep. So that one should be very careful. Otherwise we may fall in trap. Okay. Yugani yugamanam cha dharmo yascha yuge yuge avatarun charitam yad ascharyatamam hare. Yeah. Yes.
Please explain all the different ages in the duration of the creation and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages.
So different Yuga Avatara. So this will be explained in 11th canto. Karvaja Muni, that Krishna, Varnam Tosha Krishnam, all those verses will come in 11th canto, Yuga Avataras. Okay. Ranam sadharano dharma savishesha cha yatrisha shreninam rajrishinam cha dharma kricheshu jivatam.
Translation. Please also explain what may generally be the common religious affiliations of human society as well as their specific occupational duties in religion, the classification of the social orders as well as the administrative royal orders, and the religious principles for one who may be in distress.
Purport.
The common religion of all classes of human beings, regardless of whosoever and whatsoever one may be, is devotional service. Even the animals may be included in devotional service to the Lord. And the best example is set by Sri Bajrangji or Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Sri Ram. As we have already discussed, even the aborigines and cannibals can also be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, if they happen to be under the guidance of a genuine devotee of the Lord. In the Skanda Puran, there is a narration that a hunter in the jungle became the most enlightened devotee of the Lord by the guidance of Sri Narad Muni. Therefore, devotional service to the Lord can be equally shared by every living being.
So he is asking about what is the Sadharan Dharma. Sadharan Dharma is what? Devotional service. That means everyone, whatever may be their background, no one is disqualified for performing devotional service. So it is the general occupation, Sadharan Dharma. Then Savishesh Dharma. Now what is Savishesh Dharma? Next, religious affiliations.
Religious affiliation in terms of different countries and cultural circumstances is obviously not the common religion of the human being. Rather, the basic principle is devotional service. Even if a particular type of religious principle does not recognize the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, The followers still have to obey the disciplinary principles laid down by a particular leader. Such a leader of a religious sect is never the supreme leader because such a circumstantial leader comes to the position of leadership after undergoing some penance. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not, however, require to be under disciplinary action to become leader, as we see in the activities of Lord Krishna.
Okay. So, Savishesh Dharma is Dharma as per the birth. Okay. Savishesh Dharma. Dharma as per the birth, as per the place, That is Savishesh Dharma. But normally, we say the Dharma is decided as per the Gun and Karma, not as per the birth. So, Varnashram, what is that? Chaturvarnya Maya system, Gun Karma Vibhagasha. But here it is being said that Varnashram is as per the birth also. So how to understand that? The birth also has some significance or not?
Birth has some significance.
How?
Because some qualities of a family lineage come through by the birth to a child. So it has some significance, but not this is all.
Yeah, good. So birth is not the only criteria for deciding who is Brahman with, but birth also has very lot of special significance also. That's why Krishna also said, Karanam Guna Sangasya Sarasat Yoni Janmusu, that way also. And also Vijog Vrishta Sushinam Srimatam Gehe. Srila Prabhupada in his purport also said that I was very fortunate to be born in a Vaishnava family. So birth also has a lot of significance, but it is not the only criteria for determining who is a Brahman, who is a Vaishya. Okay? So that is Savishesh Dharma. Now third is the Apad Dharma. Dharma to be performed in distress. Okay? So that is in the third paragraph. Please.
The occupational duties of the caste and the orders of society, following the principles of livelihood, also depend on the principle of devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that a person can achieve the highest perfection of life simply by awarding the results of his occupational duty unto the devotional service of the Lord. People following the principles of devotional service to the Lord can never be put into difficulty, and thus there cannot be any question of apad dharma or religion in distress. As will be explained in this book by the greatest authority, Srila Sukdev Goswami, there is no religion save and except the devotional service of the Lord, though this may be presented in different forms.
Yeah. So, Narad Muni will explain in 7th canto to Yudhishthira Maharaj the details of Varnashram Dharma. And there Apad Dharma is also explained. What kind of, in times of distress, the Brahmins can perform the role of a Kshatriya, can perform the role of a Vaishya, but not the Shudra. A Brahman will never work for any other one person, So, that way. But for a devotee, there is no Apad Dharma. How to understand this? Prabhupada is writing. People following the principles of devotional service to the Lord can never be put into difficulty. And thus there cannot be any question of Apad Dharma or religion in distress.
Devotee can perform any duty, so for him, no, because he can perform the work of Brahman also, sometimes Kshatriya also, sometimes management, sometimes no Apad Dharma for him. He is already eligible to do anything.
Okay. Yes, yeah.
Because we are following the Dibba Varnashram, we are doing everything.
You are Devi Varnashram. Achha.
Devotees always take the shelter of Lord, maybe in happiness or in distress. So for them the process is always same.
Yeah, for them there will never be any circumstances where devotional service cannot be performed. There can be circumstances where Brahman is not able to perform his dharma, where Vaishya is not able to perform his dharma, Shudra is not able to perform his dharma. But if for a devotee there can never be any situation where bhakti cannot be performed. We can always do smaranam. Mind is always there. All our physical body has been, we have put in a lot of distress, but the mind is always there. So it's in that way, there is no apata dharma, because devotional service can never be checked by any material condition. But all other Varnashram dharma can be checked by material conditions, but devotional service can never be checked. So there is no apata dharma for devotees. Okay? Once one Prabhupada was telling one disciple to go to Russia for preaching. So that Prabhuji was giving lots of arguments to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, if you go to Russia, there's so much of cold, the vegetables don't grow. So there's only meat only, you know. So Prabhupada is okay. For preaching you have to eat meat, go and eat meat. Then he had no answer. So although he didn't eat meat, but there's no, in every circumstances we can perform devotional service. The devotees in Melbourne were performing Harinam Sankirtan. The police put them in custody. So President wrote a letter, the devotees are in custody and the advocate is asking for a high fees. Prabhupada said, let them remain in custody. Let them remain in custody and chant Hare Krishna. No problem. So devotional service can be performed anywhere. You know. No condition can check that. Okay. Tattvanam parisankhyanam lakshanam hetu lakshanam purusharadhana vidhir yogasya adhyatmikasya cha. Yes.
Kindly explain all about the elementary principles of creation, the number of such elementary principles, their causes and their development, and also the process of devotional service and the method of mystic powers.
Yeah. So all the elements which the Karanadakshay Vishnu create, then Purush Aradhana Vidhi, how to worship the Purush, this Purush avatar or devotional service, and what about this? Mystic powers, method of mystic powers. Yogashware Aishwarya Gatir Ling Bhangastu Yoginam Vedopaveda Dharmanam Itihasa Puranayo.
What are the opulences of the great mystics and what is their ultimate realization? How does the perfect mystic become detached from the subtle astral body? What is the basic knowledge of the Vedic literatures, including the branches of history and the supplementary Puranas?
Yeah. So why is asking all these questions? Just to get to this conclusion that bhakti is the supreme. Okay. Purport, please.
The Yogeswara or the master of mystic powers can exhibit 8 kinds of wonders of perfection by becoming smaller than the atom or lighter than a feather, getting anything and everything he desires, going anywhere and everywhere he likes, creating even a planet in the sky, etc. There are many Yogeswaras having different proficiencies in these wonderful powers, and the topmost of all of them is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the greatest yogi, and he can perform such wonderful things far beyond the ordinary living beings. The devotees of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, do not directly practice the process of mystic powers, but by the grace of the Lord, his devotees can defeat even a great Yogeswara like Durvasa Muni, who picked a quarrel with Maharaj Ambrish and wanted to show the wonderful achievements of his mystic powers. Maharaj Ambrish was a pure devotee of the Lord, and thus without any effort on his part, the Lord saved him from the wrath of Yogeswara Durvasa Muni, and the latter was obliged to beg pardon from the king. Similarly, at the time of Draupadi's precarious position, when she was attacked by the Kurus who wanted to see her naked in the open assembly of the royal order, the Lord saved her from being stripped by supplying an unlimited length of sari to cover her. And Draupadi knew nothing of mystic powers. Therefore, the devotees are also Yogeswaras by the unlimited power of the Lord, just as a child is powerful by the strength of the parents. They don't try to protect themselves by any artificial means, but are saved by the mercy of the parents.
Yeah, next.
Maharaj Parikshit inquired from the learned Brahmana Sukdev Goswami about the ultimate destination of such great mystics, or how they attain such extraordinary powers by their own efforts or by the grace of the Lord. He inquired also about their detachment from the subtle and gross material bodies. He inquired also about the purpose of the Vedic knowledge, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:15. The whole purport of all the Vedas is to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
and thus become a transcendental loving servant of the Lord.
Yeah, thank you. Samplava sarvabhutana vikrama prati sankrama ishtapurtasya kamyana trivargasya cha yo vidhi.
Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained, and how they are inherited. Tell me also of advantages and disadvantages of discharging devotional service unto Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and the injunction of the supplementary Vedic rites? And what are the procedures of religion, economic development, and science satisfaction?
Yeah. Okay. So advantage, disadvantage of bhakti, it's sounding something strange, but it means what is favorable and what is unfavorable. Okay, purport please.
Samplava is the sense of perfect means is employed to denote the discharging of devotional service, and Samplavaha means just the opposite, or which destroy the process of devotional service. One who is firmly situated in the devotional service of the Lord can very easily execute the function of conditional life. Living the conditional life is just like a playing in a boat in the middle of the ocean. One is completely at the mercy of the ocean. And at every moment there is very chance of being drowned in the ocean by slight agitation. If the atmosphere is alright, the boat can ply very easily, undoubtedly, but if there is some storm, fog, wind or cloud, there is a very possibility of being drowned in the ocean. No one can control the whims of the ocean. However, one may be materially well equipped. One who is crossed the ocean by ship may have sufficient experience of such dependence upon the mercy of the ocean. But one can play over the ocean of material existence by the grace of the Lord very easily, without any fear of storm or fog. It all depends on the will of the Lord. No one can help if there is some unfortunate danger in the state of conditional life. The devotees of the Lord, however, cross the ocean of material existence without anxiety, because a pure devotee is always protected by the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 9:13. The Lord gives special attention to His devotees in their activities within material conditional life. Bhagavad Gita 9:29. Therefore, everyone should take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and be a pure devotee of the Lord by all means.
Yeah, so Samplava means what are the perfect means of getting deliverance from the ocean of material existence. Okay, so Prabhupada is explaining. So, Prabhupada is a very powerful line. Prabhupada is writing, fourth line from the top. One who is firmly situated in the devotional service of the Lord can very easily execute the function of conditional life. So, if we are firmly situated in devotional service, we won't be disturbed by this materialistic life. Prabhupada writing, living the conditional life is just like plying a boat in the middle of ocean. There are so many ups and downs in the materialistic life. If you are not into devotional service, we will feel miserable. But if you are firmly attached, firmly fixed in devotional service, whatever may be the ups and downs, we won't be disturbed. So one who is fixed in devotional service, he is very expert in executing the function of conditional life.
Yeah. So generally in the congregation preaching, we find this excuse like when they become sincere in the devotional service, usually they lose the taste in their material activities, maintain in the family life and all. So then the problems begins. So like what is the cause of that and what is the solution? Because it's usually we are facing this, some people comes and like husband wife fighting, or like one is going extreme for the devotional life.
So the cause is that whatever devotional service they are performing, they should perform under supervision. So one becomes very sentimental, one becomes very fanatic, So the other partner becomes insecure. So that way they should perform in a very systematic and balanced manner. Okay. So that way. And some normally it happens. Initially they will say, Prabhuji, मैं तो सब छोड़ के बैठ जाता हूँ ना. We used to have a devotee ऑफिस में सब ऑफिस बंद करके नीचे बैठ के हरे कृष्णा हरे नाम है केवल आपने बोल दिया यही कर रहे हैं. Then his business went for twist, पूरा खराब हो गया उसको, फिर सब कुछ छोड़ दिया. They would go like this, like a pendulum. So they should perform under some supervision in a balanced manner. That way. Okay. The next paragraph, Prabhupada is writing about the things which are opposed to the devotional service. One should know therefore from the expert spiritual master the advantages and disadvantages of discharging devotional service, just as Maharaj Parikshit asked his spiritual master. That is, what are favorable and what are unfavorable for devotional service. In between, Prabhupada is writing 8-9 lines down. One should not accumulate money to become puffed up in the material world. One should earn his livelihood easily and honestly. For it is better to become a coolie for an honest livelihood than to become a great man in the society by hook and crook. Very powerful line. Coolie ban jayenge, lekin hone hoga. Okay. Then favorable conditions, Prabhupada is writing, one should be always enthusiastic in performing devotional service. Okay. And then you can, this is how Prabhupada is explaining. Okay. यो वानुषाय नाम सर्गा पाषाण्डस्य च संभवा आत्मनुबंध मोक्षो च व्यवस्थानम स्वरूपतः.
Translation. Please also explain how, merged in the body of the Lord, living beings are created, and how the infidels appear in the world. Also please explain how the unconditioned living entities exist.
Yeah. So this is the question for all kinds of sadhakas who want to attain the perfection in their sadhanas. Okay. What is the bondage, what is liberation? Purport, please.
The progressive devotee of the Lord must inquire from the bona fide spiritual master how living entities merged in the body of the Lord again came back at the time of creation. There are two kinds of living entities. There are the ever liberated, unconditioned living beings, as well as the ever conditioned living beings. Of the ever conditioned living beings, there are two divisions. They are faithful and the infidels. Of the faithful, there are again two divisions, namely the devotees and the mental speculators. The mental speculators desire to merge into the existence of the Lord or to become one with the Lord, whereas the devotees of the Lord desire to keep separate identities and constantly engage in the service of the Lord. The devotees who are not fully purified, as well as the empiric philosophers, become conditioned again during the next creation for further purification. Such conditioned souls become liberated by further progress of devotional service to the Lord. Maharaj Parikshit asked all these questions from the bona fide spiritual master in order to become fully equipped in the science of God.
Yeah, so this question is applicable for all of us. All of us were merged in the body of Mahavishnu. Again, we have got a chance. So by progressing in devotional service, we can become unconditioned. Yathatma tantro bhagvana vikradati atmamaya visrjasya yatha maya udasate sakshivad vibhu.
The independent personality of Godhead enjoys his pastime by his internal potency, and at the time of annihilation gives them up to the external potency, and he remains a witness to it at all.
Yeah. Purport?
Lord Sri Krishna, being the supreme personality of Godhead and fountainhead of all other incarnation, is the only independent person. He enjoys his pastimes by creation as he desires and gives them up to the external energy at the time of annihilation. By his internal potency only, he kills the demon Putana
even though enjoying his pastimes in the lap of his mother Yashoda. And when he desired to leave this world, he creates a pastime of killing his own family members, Yadukul, and remains unaffected by such annihilation. He is the witness of everything that is happening, and yet he has nothing to do with anything. He is independent in every respect. Maharaj Parikshit desired to know more perfectly, for a pure devotee ought to know well.
Yeah. So when Krishna is performing pastime through his internal potency, he is acting as he is very much attached to his cowherd boys, gopis, Mother Yashoda. And when he is winding up his pastimes, he is arranging that Mosal Leela, as if he is totally detached, just witnessing. So please describe all this in detail. So this ends the questions, okay? And now again Parikshit Maharaj is requesting Sukdev Goswami. Sarvam metascha bhagvana prichato menu prasha tattvato rahasi tat prapannaya mahamune. Yes.
O great sage, representative of the Lord, kindly satisfy my inquisitiveness in all that I have inquired from you, and all that I may not have inquired from you from the very beginning of my questionings. Since I am a soul surrendered unto you, please impart full knowledge in this connection.
Yeah, purport.
The spiritual master is always prepared to impart knowledge to the disciple, and specifically when the disciple is very inquisitive. Inquisitiveness on the part of a disciple is greatly necessary for the progress of disciple.
Yeah.
Maharaj Parikshit is a typical disciple because he is perfectly inquisitive. If one is not very inquisitive about self-realization, one need not approach a spiritual master simply to make a show of discipleship. Not only is Maharaj Parikshit inquisitive concerning all he has inquired about, but he is also anxious to know about what he has not been able to inquire. Factually, it is not possible for a man to inquire about everything from the spiritual master. But the bona fide spiritual master is able to enlighten the disciple in every way for the disciple's benefit.
Yeah. So qualifications of Parikshit Maharaj is very, very inquisitive. Okay. And at the same time, he says, I am a soul surrendered unto you. Okay. So not only taking Diksha from a spiritual master is essential, one must surrender also. Diksha is just the beginning. It's not that we have taken initiation, no, okay, everything is perfect. After taking initiation, one must surrender. Only then we should have great faith in the words of the spiritual master. Only then the knowledge will enter in our heart. Okay, so Parikshit Maharaj had full faith in the words of Sukdev Goswami. It will come in the next verse. Atra pramanam hi bhavan parameshti yathatma bhu apre chanutishtanti purvesham purvajai kritam.
O great sage, you are as good as Brahma, the original living being. Others follow custom only, as followed by the previous philosophical speculators.
So Sukdev Goswami says, so many sages are there, so you may ask them, why are you asking me only? So in reply to that he is saying, no, you are something different. You are as good as Brahma. Please. Purport, yeah.
It may be argued that Sukdev Goswami is not the only authority of perfect knowledge in Transcendental, because there are many other sages and their followers. Contemporary to the Vyasdev or even prior to him, there were many other great sages such as Gautam, Kannad, Jaimini, Kapila, Astavakra, and all of them have presented a philosophical path by themselves. Patanjali is also one of them, and all these 6 great rishis have their own way of thinking, exactly like the modern philosophers and mental speculators. The difference between the 6 philosophical paths put forward by the renowned sages above mentioned and that of Sukdev Goswami as presented in the Srimad Bhagavatam is that all the 6 sages mentioned above speak the facts according to their own thinking, but Sukdev Goswami presents the knowledge which comes down directly from Brahmaji, who is known as Atma Bhuhu, or born of and educated by the Almighty Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So this is the faith one should have. A disciple should have faith in the spiritual master, that he is in the bona fide disciplic succession, and one should completely surrender. Then will get that knowledge. Okay, next please. Vedic transcendental knowledge.
Vedic transcendental knowledge descends directly from the personality of Godhead. By his mercy, Brahma, the first living being in the universe, was enlightened, and from Brahmaji Narad was enlightened, and from Narad Vyas was enlightened. Sukdev Goswami received such transcendental knowledge directly from his father, Vyasdev. Thus, the knowledge being received from the chain of disciplic succession is perfect. One cannot be a spiritual master in perfection unless and until one has received the same by disciplic succession. That is the secret of receiving transcendental knowledge. The six great sages mentioned above may be great thinkers, but their knowledge by mental speculation is not perfect. However, perfect and empiric philosopher may be in presenting a philosophical thesis. Such knowledge is never perfect because it is
Produced
by an imperfect mind. Such great sages also have their disciplic successions, but they are not authorized because such knowledge does not come directly from the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. No one can be independent except Narayan. Therefore, no one's knowledge can be perfect, for everyone's knowledge is dependent on the flickering mind.
Very important point. Yeah.
Mind is material, and thus knowledge presented by the material speculators is never transcendental and can never become perfect. Mundane philosophers, being imperfect in themselves, disagree with other philosophers because a mundane philosopher is not a philosopher at all unless he presents his own theory. Intelligent person like Maharaj Parikshit do not recognize such mental speculators, however great they may be. But here from the authorities like Sukdev Goswami, who is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the Parampara system, as is especially stressed in the Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you. Namayasva parayanti brahman anashanadi ame pibato achyuta piyusham tad vakya devinishtam.
O learned Brahmana, because of my drinking the nectar of the message of the infallible personality of Godhead, which is flowing down from the ocean of your speeches, I do not feel any sort of exhaustion due to my fasting.
Yeah. So Sukdev Goswami says, okay, you may be feeling, very hungry, thirsty. But don't worry, I am feeling very fresh because I am taking Piyush. What is that? Achyut Piyush. Okay, purport.
The disciplic succession from Brahma, Narad, Vyas and Shukdev Goswami is particularly different from others. The disciplic successions from other sages are simply a waste of time, being devoid of Achyut Katha, the message of the infallible Lord. The mental speculators can present their theories very nicely by reason and arguments, but such reasons and arguments are not infallible, for they are defeated by better mental speculators. Maharaj Parikshit was not interested in the dry speculation of the flickering mind, but he was interested in the topics of the Lord because factually he felt that by hearing such a nectarian message from the mouth of Shukdev Goswami, he was not feeling any exhaustion, even though he was fasting because of his imminent death.
Continue.
One can indulge in hearing the mental speculators, but such hearing cannot endure for any length of time. One will be exhausted very soon from hearing such hackneyed ways of thinking, and no one in the world can be satisfied simply by hearing such useless speculations. The message of the Lord, especially from a personality like Shukdev Goswami, can never be tiring, even though one may be exhausted from other causes. In some editions of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the text of the last line of this verse reads, Anyatra Kupita Tujad, which means that the king might be overwhelmed by the thought of his imminent death by snake bite. The snake is also twice born, and its anger is compared to the cursing Brahmana boy who was without good intelligence. Maharaj Parikshit was not at all afraid of death, for he was fully encouraged by the message of the Lord. One who is fully absorbed in Achyut Katha can never be afraid of anything in this world.
So this is the power of absorption. So once His Holiness Sachidananda Swami Maharaj asked His Holiness Radhanand Swami Maharaj, please describe in one word the secret of success in spiritual life. So Radhanand Maharaj replied, absorption. Yen ken prakaren mana Krishna nivasiyat. So if you are able to absorb our mind in Krishna consciousness, so Parikshit Maharaj is not at all affected. He is not even afraid of death. He is not feeling hungry. He is not feeling thirsty. The mind is so much absorbed. Okay. Even, Abdul Kalam Azad, our former president, on his day of marriage, he was so absorbed in his laboratory research work, he forgot that today is marriage. He forgot to go back home. And then he couldn't marry. Then he said, okay, what is the need of marriage? On the day of marriage, I was not remembering marriage, so he didn't marry at all. So this is the power of absorption. Even a materialistic, he gets absorbed in such things. Just imagine, he just forgot today is my marriage. He was so absorbed in his research work. So we are here to success. We'll get success if we are able to absorb. So in Krishna consciousness, we have so much of variety. Different limbs of Krishna consciousness are there. So in any limb where we can get absorbed. So that will ensure us immunity from all kinds of material things. Right?
Because the snake is also twice born.
Snake, I don't know how it takes birth.
Initiated.
No, initiated nahi.
Like first egg came from eggs
Achha, twice. Okay. First. Okay. Pakshis are also called Dvij, Okay. Pakshis, birds are also called Dvij. Okay. Now, Suta Uvacha Sa Upa Mantrito Ragya Kathayamiti Satpate Brahmarto Vrisham Prito Vishnu Ratena Sansidi.
Sutta Goswami said, thus Shukdev Goswami, being invited by Maharaj Parikshit to speak on topics of Lord Shri Krishna with the devotees, was very much pleased.
Yeah, so he was enthused. Okay. Second paragraph.
Srila Sukdev Goswami was protected by Lord Krishna.
Why?
And therefore he is known as Brahmarat. And Sriman Parikshit Maharaj was protected by Vishnu, and thus he is known as Vishnurat. As devotees of the Lord, they are always protected by the Lord. It is clear also in this connection that a Vishnurat should hear Srimad Bhagavatam from Brahmarat and no one else, because other misrepresent the transcendental knowledge and thus spoil one's valuable time.
So you must be aware of that story where Lord protects, how Lord protects Sukdev Goswami.
Lord Shiva.
No. Shukdev Goswami was the womb of his mother for 16 years. He was not coming out, being afraid of Maya. Then Vyasadeva went to Dwarka, called Lord Krishna. Please come personally and assure him. And Krishna came personally. And I assure you, you won't be touched by Maya. And then he came out. So he was protected by the Lord. And the Lord also protected. Lord protected Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of his mother. Lord protected Shukdev Goswami also, who was in the womb of the mother. Okay, Lord gave the insurance. That's how he came out. Okay. Praha Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
He began to reply to the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit by saying that the science of the personality of Godhead was spoken first by the Lord himself to Brahma when he was first born. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supplementary Vedic literature and it is just in pursuance of the Vedas.
Yeah, purport.
Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of the personality of Godhead. The impersonalist always tries to misrepresent the personal feature of the Lord, not knowing the science of this great knowledge, and Srimad Bhagavatam is in pursuance of the Vedas and scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead. To learn this science, one should take shelter of the representative of Sri Sukdev and follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit without foolishly attempting to interpret, thereby committing a great offense at the feet of the Lord. The dangerous ways of interpretations by the non-devotee class of men have played havoc in understanding the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the careful student should be always alert in this matter if he at all wants to learn the science of Godhead.
Yeah. Yat Parikshit Rishbha Panduna अनुपपृच्छति अनुपूर्वेण तत्सर्वम् आख्यातुम् उपचक्रमे.
He also prepared himself to reply to all that King Parikshit had inquired from him. Maharaj Parikshit was the best in the dynasty of the Pandus, and thus he was able to ask the right questions from the right person.
Yeah.
Maharaj Parikshit asked many questions, some of them very curiously, to know things as they are. But it is not necessary for the master to answer them in the order of disciples' inquiries, one after the another. But Shukdev Goswami, experienced teacher that he was, answered all the questions in a systematic way as they were received from the chain of disciplic succession. And he answered all of them without exception.
Yeah.
Thus ended the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the second canto, 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Questions by King Parikshit.
Yes. Okay, we'll take a 5-10 minutes break. Yeah. So we'll read the purport.
Maharaj Parikshit's question as to how a living entity began his material life, although he is apart from the material body and mind, is perfectly answered. The spirit soul is distinct from the material conception of his life, but he is absorbing such a material conception because of being influenced by the external energy of the Lord called Atma Maya. This has already been explained in the first canto in connection with Vyasadev's realization of the Supreme Lord and his external energy. The external energy is controlled by the Lord, and the living entities are controlled by the external energy, by the will of the Lord. Therefore, although the living entity is purely conscious in his pure state, he is subordinate to the will of the Lord in being influenced by the external energy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, also the same thing is confirmed. The Lord is present within the heart of every living entity, and the living entity's consciousness and forgetfulness are influenced by the Lord.
Yeah, so you all remember first canto, 7th chapter, how Vyasadev, Narad Muni gave the vision to Vyasadev, and Vyasadev could see how the living soul is getting entrapped. Yaya samhito jivam atmanam trigunatmakam paropi. Here also the word parasya has come. Paropi manute anartham yat kitam chabhi padyate. Okay, how living entity is getting trapped by the influence of the external energy. And why they are doing that? It is the will of the living entity, and the Lord sanctions, and then external energy comes into action. Right? Okay. Next paragraph.
Now the next question automatically made will be why the Lord influences the living entity to such consciousness and forgetfulness. The answer is that the Lord clearly wishes that every living entity be in his pure consciousness as part and parcel of the Lord, and thus be engaged in the loving service of the Lord as he is constitutionally made. But because the living entity is partially independent also, he may not be willing to serve the Lord, but may try to become as independent as the Lord is. All the non-devotee living entities are desirous of becoming equally as powerful as the Lord, although they are not fit to become so. The living entities are illusioned by the will of the Lord because they wanted to become like Him, like a person who thinks of becoming a king without possessing the necessary qualification. When the living entity desires to become the Lord Himself, he is put in a condition of dreaming that he is a king. Therefore, the first sinful will of the living entity is to become the Lord. And the consequent will of the Lord is that the living entity forget his factual life and thus dream of the land of Utopia where he may become one like the Lord. The child cries to have the moon from the mother, and the mother gives the child a mirror to satisfy crying and disturbing child with the reflection of the moon. Similarly, the crying child of the Lord is given over to the reflection, the material world, to lord it over as karmis, and to give this up in frustration to become one with the Lord. Both these stages are dreaming illusions only. There is no necessity of tracing out the history of when the living entity desired this. But the fact is that as soon as he desired it, he was put under the control of Atmaya by the direction of the Lord. Therefore, the living entity in his material condition is dreaming falsely that this is mine and this is I. The dream is that the conditioned soul thinks of his material body as I, or falsely think that he is the Lord and that everything in connection with the Lord, everything in connection with that material body is mine. Thus, only in the dream does the misconception of I and mine persist life after life. This continues life after life as long as the living entity is not purely conscious of his identity as the subordinate part and parcel of the Lord. In his pure consciousness, however, there is no such misconceived dream, and in that pure conscious state, the living entity does not forget that he is never the Lord, but that he is eternally the servitor of the Lord in transcendental love.
Yeah. Similar simile is given by Maitreya Muni to Vidur. That Maitreya Muni tells Vidur that material world is like a dreaming condition, and he says it is like when in a dream, a person sees his head cut off. How can we see a person in the mirror, see himself, his head cut off, and head is not there, but he's seeing in the mirror, the head is cut off. So that is how this material world is like a dreaming situation. And then Maitreya says, how much hard we may try to enjoy this material world, the more we try to get happiness in this material world, more we get distress. This material world is a very funny place. It's like a dreamlike situation. We can never become the Lord. The more we try to become the Lord, more we get frustrated. The more we get facilities for sense gratification, more we are illusioned. We are thinking we are happy, but more we are getting illusioned. More will be in distress. So in a way, in this world, everyone is competing with each other to be more miserable. Everyone is competing with each other. I should have more sense gratification than you. More sense gratification means more miseries. So this is why Prabhu says there is no sane person in this world. सब पागल है. ज़्यादा दुखी होने के लिए competition कर रहे हैं. Then Prabhupada gives an example. There was a rich lady. She had a fever, viral fever, and her maidservant also had a fever. The doctor comes to visit both of them. The doctor first checks the maidservant. Her fever is 104 degree. The mistress fever is 100 degree. The lady starts shouting, I am the mistress, she is a maid servant. My fever should be more than her fever. So Prabhupada said, this is the condition of material world. Everyone is trying his material fever. Everyone wants to be more miserable because they don't understand what is reality. Okay. So even after coming to devotional service, this illusion is not still gone. This conception of I and mine. Still, we have these dreams. If I keep my body and mind comfortable, I'll be more happy. Still we have sense gratification. This sense gratification is possible only in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, everything is a futile attempt to gratify our senses. Senses will be satisfied when the Krishna senses are satisfied. If I'm trying to satisfy my senses independently, it's a futile attempt. I can never satisfy my senses. Never, impossible. It's not constitutionally right. कैसे करेंगे बताओ? कर ही नहीं सकते. My senses will be satisfied if I satisfy the senses of Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchyate. So Bhakti means sense gratification. But we think Bhakti means no, giving up sense gratification. Bhakti means engaging in sense gratification. By Bhakti only our senses are gratified. Isn't it? So how do you feel after coming to Bhakti? Your senses are more gratified or not? How?
Eating
Yeah, such prasad we never eaten outside. And what else? Sleeping. Yes, eating, sleeping, yes.
Hearing.
Hearing, yeah. Seeing, kirtan, hearing, so much, like-minded devotees. Yes, Prabhu. Dham yatra, yes. So, okay, touring also. So, in Krishna consciousness, there is real sense gratification. So, on this, there is a lecture given by, on this verse, there is a lecture given by Srila Prabhupada in 1972. I'll show you that. Prabhupada makes very important points in this lecture. आएगा? इसको ऊपर करो. Yes, it. So Bhurijan Prabhu is quoting in his Unveiling the Lotus Feet. Font is okay? ठीक है? इसमें आएगा नहीं. ठीक है, यहां से पढ़ेंगे. जस्ट लाइक अ मैन सीइंग इन अ ड्रीम.
Just like a man seeing in a dream. Oh, there is tiger, tiger, tiger. Save me. He is crying. Another man is weighing him, thinking, where is the tiger? Why you are crying? But in the dream, he is actually feeling the tiger has attacked me. Therefore, this example is given.
संबंधा. Okay, पढ़िए. There
cannot be any meaning of this relationship except that it is like a man dreaming, and in that dream he creates a fearful situation.
Yeah. Continue.
Dialogue 3. The Lord instructs Brahma. Actually, there is no cause of fear. There is no tiger. That situation is created within a dream. Similarly, we have created this material world and its activities. People are identifying that, oh, I am the manager, I am the factory owner, I am this, I am that. We have got his politics. We have to defeat such competitors. All these are created exactly like that.
स्वप्न दृष्टि एवं जैसा.
Just like a man is creating his particular situation simply by dream. That's all. When somebody asks you that when has a living entity come in contact with material nature? So the answer is that he has not come in contact. He is thinking that he is in contact due to the influence of the external energy. Just like the same example, a man is dreaming, there is no contact with the tiger. Actually, he has no contact with that. Similarly, actually we are not fallen, we cannot be fallen. Try to understand. It is a very important point. We have simply created a situation. Rather, we have not created a situation. But Krishna has given us a situation because we wanted to imitate Krishna. So Krishna has given an opportunity. Alright, imitate. You want to be imitation king on the stage? So feel like this, play like this, do like this. People will applaud. Oh, very nice thing, very nice. So everyone in this material world, they are playing some part. They wanted, I want to be prime minister. Alright. I want to become very big business magnate. I want to be leader. I want to be a philosopher. I want to be a scientist. So all this nonsense, they are trying to play. Krishna is giving him the opportunity. Alright. But it is a nonsense. All nonsense. Simply dreaming. Next moment when the dream is gone, everything is finished. No more tiger, no more jungle, everything is finished. Similarly, so long this body is continuing, I am thinking, I am a responsible leader.
I am this, I am that. But as soon as this body is finished, all these are gone. It is just like dream. Actually, we are not fallen. Therefore, because we are not fallen, at any moment we can revive our Krishna consciousness. As soon as we understand, I have nothing to do with this. I am simply Krishna's servant, eternal servant. That's all. Immediately he becomes liberated. Sometimes we do that. When the fearful dreaming becomes too much intolerable, we break the dream. We break the dream when it becomes intolerable. Similarly, we can break this material connection at any moment as soon as we can come to the point of Krishna consciousness. Oh, Krishna is my eternal master. I am his servant. That's all. This is the way. Actually, we are not fallen. There cannot be any fallen. The same example. Actually, there is no tiger. It is dreaming. Similarly, our fallen condition is also dreaming. We are not fallen. We can simply give up that illusory condition at any moment. At any moment. So, if you study all these verses very nicely, you get all this knowledge quickly.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's a very important point Prabhupada makes. We are not fallen. No? We are not in the context of this material world. It is just a dream. Like someone has got a mark on his forehead by birth. It cannot be removed. But some mud is there, it can be removed. Similarly, this dirt is there. Dirt of three modes of nature, it can be removed. No? So because we are not fallen, immediately we can revive our Krishna consciousness. So simple also, so difficult also. We have to just revive our Krishna consciousness. We are not fallen. We are not asangohim ayam purusha. The soul has nothing to do with this material world. But we assume, we dream. It's a dreamlike situation. कैसा लगा कपिल जी? Okay. So how to remain awake? Yeah.
So we are dreaming.
Huh?
We are here, we are dreaming. And in dream, we are doing good things also. Like we are practicing Krishna consciousness. And we are sometimes not, many times, most of the time, we are not Krishna conscious as well. So here what we see that positive part is Prabhupada emphasizing, like we can revive our Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
So at the same time, whatever we are not doing in favor of Krishna consciousness, that is also affecting in dream.
That is prolonging our dream. One more dream will come, and that dream you will be something else. So that is prolonging our dreaming conditions. So we have to wake up. So awakening is Krishna consciousness. That's all. Right? Okay. So Prabhupada is saying we are just playing our roles. But that doesn't mean now it is all dreaming condition. I'm not a brahmachari, I'm not a temple commander, I'm not president. It's all dream. Sab sapna chal raha hai Prabhu. Sab sapna hai. Prabhu prasad nahi aaya. Sab sapna hai Prabhu. Prabhu darshan nahi khole. Kya darshan Prabhu? Sab sapna chal raha hai na. So, we cannot treat like this. So, whatever roles we have got, we have to play those roles very perfectly. But we should know these are only roles. This is not the reality. Even I am brahmachari, it's a role, it's not reality. I am temple commander, it's a role, it's not reality. We're just playing the roles. But we are playing the roles in such a manner that we get awakened. We break our dream. This is the nice thing. Okay? So coming in the association of devotees, we are helping each other to wake up. एक दूसरे को उठा रहे हैं हम.
So we all are in dreaming person, how can help others? Person who is always get he can help Prabhu. If everyone is dreaming, then how we can help each other?
नहीं तो गुरुजी ने हमें उठाया है थोड़ा सा. So spiritual master is an awakened person. He is trying to awake all of us. So he is giving us some medicine which will wake us up. So we are helping each other to wake up each other. थोड़ी थोड़ी नींद खुल रही है फिर सो जाते हैं. So we are helping each other to get up. Okay. No, no, not smarana. Dreaming is dreaming only. Dreaming doesn't come under smarana. Okay. So this we may have heard many times, but how to, practice it, how to imbibe in our life, how to remember these things. If every time we can remind ourselves, I am servant of Krishna, so I have to just serve Krishna, so I should not get affected by all these designations. But at the same time, these designations are necessary to help me get free from designations once for all. These designations are necessary to use these designations to get rid of designations. Kante se kante ko nikalna hai. So we have to use these designations to get rid of designations and come to our natural state. तो ये हमेशा याद रखना है ना. We are like playing the roles, like अमिताभ बच्चन कभी कूली बन रहा है, कभी डॉन बन रहा है ना. तो उसके बाद घर आने के बाद वही नहीं बोल रहा मैं हूँ डॉन. घर आने के बाद अपना he's like a normal husband and normal father. Similarly, we are just playing the roles. But you start identifying ourselves with the roles, it's madness. It's a dream. So what we do is start identifying ourselves with the roles. I am a businessman, I am a brahmachari, I am this, I am that, I am like this. This is identifying myself with my designation, with my roles. So that creates madness. So I have to use these designations, I have to play these roles perfectly to get out of this dreaming condition. This life is like a stage, drama. So everyone is playing his role. Who is the director of the drama? Krishna. Krishna is the director. Maya dakshana prakriti suyata sacharacharam. So Krishna is the perfect director. So one who will act perfectly as per the plan of the director, so he will be released. One is not acting perfectly, so again, one more drama. That way. ठीक है? आगे बढ़े? Okay. बहुरूपी वा भाति मायया बहुरूपया रममाणो गुणेश्वस्या ममहमिति मन्यते. Yes. Translation.
The illusion living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying the modes of material nature, the engaged living entity misconceives thinking in terms of I and mine.
Yeah. Mam aham iti manyate ramamano guneshu asya. So we are enjoying these modes of material nature, and due to these modes of material nature, we think me and mine. Okay? Yeah. Purport, please.
The different forms of the living entities are different dresses offered by the illusory external energy of the Lord. According to the modes of material nature, the living beings desires to enjoy. The external material energy is represented by her three modes, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, even in the material nature, there is a chance of an independent choice by the living entity. And according to his choice, the material energy offers him different varieties of material bodies. There are 9 lakhs varieties of material bodies in water, 20 lakhs vegetables bodies, 11 lakhs worms and reptiles, and 10 lakh forms of the birds, and 30 lakhs different bodies of the beast, and 4 lakhs human forms. Altogether, there are 84 lakhs varieties of the bodies in different planets of the universe. And the living entities is traveled by
traveling
by so many transmigrations according to the different modes of enjoying spirit within himself. Even in a one particular body, the living entity changes from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age, and from old age to another body created by his own action. The living entity created by his own body, by his personal desires, and the external energy of the Lord supplies him the exact form by which he can enjoy his desires to fullest extent. The tiger wanted to enjoy the blood of the another animal, and therefore, by the grace of the Lord, the material energy supplied him the body of the tiger with facilities of enjoying the blood from the another animal. Similarly, a living entity desiring to get the body of the demigods in the higher planets can also get it by the grace of the Lord. If if he is intelligent enough, he can desire to get the spiritual body to enjoy the company of the Lord, and he will get it. So the minute freedom of the living entity can be fully utilized. And the Lord is so kind that he will award the living entity the same type of the body he desires. The living entity desiring like dreaming of the golden mountain. A person knows what is the mountain is, and he knows what is the gold is. Out of his desire only, he dreams of a golden mountain, and when the dream is over, he sees something else in his presence.
Yeah.
He finds in the awakened state that there is another gold, there neither gold nor a mountain. And what to speak of a golden mountain?
Yeah, thank you. So the verse is saying, Ramamato Guneshivasya Maya Bahu Rupaya. There's multifarious forms, and in all these forms we are thinking I and mine. Okay. And it all depends on the desires. So basically, our life is how we manage our desires, how we utilize our free will. So bhakti means making right choices at every moment. Every moment we have choice. We have to choose our mind's dictates or the dictates of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Okay. So that's why it matters a lot in what kind of association we are. If we are in the right association, we'll be making the right choices. A wrong choice, one wrong choice may cause us many births. One wrong choice may cause us many, many births. So that's why it's very important to choose, always put yourself in the right association of devotees so that we can use our free will properly. Okay. If we can use our free will properly, we can go back to Godhead. If we're not able to use our free will properly, we'll keep on rotating in this material universe. Everything depends how we manage our desires. And desires, sangha, sanjayate kama, they will come by the association. So that is how minute free will can take us anywhere. Okay, it's very interesting. Very interesting. So even if we may have lots of previous desires also, so that also can be taken care of if we have good association. Baldev Vidyabhushan in this commentary to Bhagavad Gita 3.34 he says, the association of devotees is so powerful that it can burn out all our old sanskaras. Okay. So whatever old impressions are there in our chit from our previous births or before coming to Krishna consciousness, if we associate with devotees properly, we can burn those sanskaras. Okay, and we can start a fresh life. Okay, future is bright if we remain in the association of devotees, and we should always pray that I can use my free will properly. That's all. If I'm using my free will properly, then I'm on the right track. That's why it is said it's very important to come in mode of goodness. Because in the mode of goodness, we can see the things as they are. In mode of passion and ignorance, we are totally illusioned. Okay, so that's why it said first come to the mode of goodness, then we can transcend all the modes. Right? Okay. Okay. Yarhi vav mahimni sve parasmin kalamayayo ramet gat sammohas Tyaktva dasate tabo bhayam. Yes.
As soon as the living entity becomes situated in its constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self.
Yeah. So previous verse was giving the problem. This verse gives the solution. How to get rid of this me and mine? How to come out of this dreaming situation? Yarhi vav mahimni sve parasmin kal mayayo. At any time, vav means certainly. Mahimni sve, the living entity come back to his glorified state. Parasmin kal mayayo. If he serves a person who is beyond kal and maya, who is that? Parasmin, who is the Supreme Lord. Then ramet gat sammohas tyaktva udasate tadobhayam. Then will enjoy in his real glory after giving up the both misconceptions of me and mine. Okay. So by becoming attached to that which is beyond time and Maya, one also goes beyond time and Maya. And then one really enjoys. In the previous word also, the word Ramet comes, Second verse also you say, Ramumano Guneshwasya Mam Mahamiti Manyate. When we are in the modes of nature, we are enjoying the modes of nature. But when we go beyond the modes of nature, then we really enjoy in our true glory. Okay? Right? Purport, please, Prabhu.
The two misconceptions of life, namely I and mine, are verily manifested in two classes of men. In the lower state, the misconception of mine is very prominent, and in the higher state, the misconception of I is prominent. In the animal state of life, the misconception of mine is perceivable even in the category of cats and dogs, who fight with one another with the same misconception of mine. In the lower stage of human life, the same misconception is also prominent in the shape of it is my body, it is my house, it is my family, it is my caste, it is my nation, it is my country, and so on. And in the higher stage of speculative knowledge, the same misconception of mine is transformed into I am or I am all, etc. There are many classes of men comprehending the same misconception of I and mine in different colors. But the real significance of I can be realized only when one is situated in the consciousness of I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. This is pure consciousness, and all the Vedic literatures teach us this conception of life.
Yeah, continue, please.
The misconception of I and Lord, I am the Lord, or I am the Supreme is more dangerous than the misconception of mine. Although there are sometimes directions in the Vedic literatures to think oneself one with the Lord, that does not mean that one becomes identical with the Lord in every respect. Undoubtedly, there is oneness of the living entity with the Lord in many respects, but ultimately the living entity is subordinate to the Lord, and he is constitutionally meant for satisfying the senses of the Lord. The Lord therefore asks the conditioned souls to surrender unto him. Had the living entities not been subordinate to the Supreme Will, why would the living entity be asked to surrender? Had the living being been equal in all respects, then why was he put under the influence of Maya? We have already discussed many times that material energy is controlled by the Lord. Bhagavad Gita confirms this controlling power of the Lord over the material nature. Can a living entity who claims to be as good as Supreme Being control the material nature? The foolish I would reply that he will do so in the future. Even accepting that in the future one will be as good as control of material nature as the Supreme Being, then why is one now under the control of material nature? The Bhagavad Gita says that one can be freed from the control of material nature by surrendering unto the Supreme Lord. But if there is no surrender, then the living entity will never be able to control the material nature. So one must also give up this conception of I by practicing the way of devotional service and becoming firmly situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. A poor man without any employment or occupation may undergo so many troubles in life. But if by the chance the same man gets a good service under the government, he at once becomes happy. There is no profit in denying the supremacy of the Lord, who is the controller of all energies. But one should be constitutionally situated in one's own glory, namely to be situated in the pure consciousness of being the eternal servitor of the Lord. In his conditional life, the living entity is the servant of illusory Maya, and in his liberated state, he is the pure, unqualified servant of the Lord. To become untinged by the modes of material nature is the qualification for entering into the service of the Lord. As long as one is a servant of mental concoctions, one cannot be completely free from the disease of I and mine.
Yeah, it's a very interesting purport. So, Devyesha Gurmai, Ma Maya Duratya, Ma Mevi Papadante, Maya Metam Tarande. The only way to get rid of this misconception of I and mine is to surrender. And Prabhupada writes in this preface of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna wants it and Krishna demands it. Krishna wants us to surrender, Krishna demands the surrender for our own benefit also. And here very interesting line is there. In his conditional life, the living entity is the servant of the illusory Maya, and in his liberated state, he is pure, unqualified servant of the Lord. Okay, so that is Prabhupada's wonderful English, And what is that? To become untinged by the modes of material nature is the qualification for entering into the service of the Lord. So first we have become How to become unqualified? By becoming qualified to cross the three modes of material nature. Okay. So again Prabhupada is quoting Mam cha vicharane bhakti yoga sevate, and after that we can read. So the science of bhakti yoga. The science of the bhakti yoga.
So the science of bhakti yoga, of worshipping the Lord, glorifying the Lord, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam from the right sources, not from the professional man, but from a person who is Bhagavatam in life, and being always in the association of pure devotees, should be adopted in earnestness.
Yes, that's the important word, in earnestness. That's what we should do. We are following the process, everything we are doing. We are worshipping the Lord, glorifying the Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source, always in the association of pure devotees, should be adopted in earnestness. Prabhupada says, the process is simple, but it requires sincere application. Okay? This process is very simple. To get rid of Maya is also very simple. Everything is required is our sincere application. Right? Let's continue, Prabhu.
One should not be misled by misconception of I and mine. The karmis are fond of the conception of mine. The jnanis are fond of the conception of I. And both of them are unqualified to be free from the bondage of illusory energy. Srimad Bhagavatam and primarily the Bhagavad Gita are both meant for delivering a person from the misconception of I and mine. And Srila Vyasadeva transcribed them for the deliverance of the fallen souls. The living entity has to be situated in the transcendental position, where there is no longer any influence of time or the material energy. In conditioned life, the living entity is subjected to the influence of time in the dream of past, present, and future. The mental speculator tries to conquer the influence of time by speculating about becoming Vasudeva, or Supreme Lord, in the future by means of culturing knowledge and conquering over ego. But the process is not perfect. The perfect process is to accept Lord Vasudeva as a supreme in everything. The best perfection in culturing knowledge is to surrender unto him, because he is the source of everything. Only in that conception can one get rid of misconceptions of I and mine. Both the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam confirm it. Srila Vyasadeva has specifically contributed to the illusion living entities, the science of God, and the process of Bhakti Yoga in his great literature Srimad Bhagavatam. And the conditioned soul should fully take advantage of this great science.
Yeah. So, anarthopshamam sakshat bhakti yoga adhokshaje lokasya janata vedvan chakre satvat sameta. That's what's being referred. Okay. Yeah. Now, from 4 to 8 verse, Shukdev Goswami is setting the platform for narrating the conversation between Lord and Brahmaji. Yeah. Mike.
It's mentioned that one can hear Srimad. Here is mentioned that one can hear Srimad Bhagavatam from the bona fide person, not for the professional peoples. Right now in ISKCON also devotees are giving Bhagavad Sapta, and I heard that Prabhupada is not appreciating the Bhagavad Sapta. Can you elaborate this?
No, we are doing Bhagavad Katha actually. It's not Bhagavad Sapta because, we have to do that. Because outside people, they want to do some Bhagavatam. If we say we don't do Bhagavatam, they'll go to the professional. No. Only we used to say, "Bhai, hum to nahi karte." But ठीक है, हम बाहर से कराते हैं. बाहर से then we lose them. But we don't. We have our own committee which certifies a person who can do Bhagavad Katha. So we have our own norms. So we don't do in their style, professional style, and we don't take anything from that. Whatever donation they give, it's given to the temple. That way.
Now, like process is same. Like devotees are putting like same outside people. The music are there. They are also singing some song also. Like in ISKCON, we have simple Bhagavad Katha.
Yeah.
But now the outside people are doing in same manner. Devotees also doing.
That's not good. It's not good.
Putting music not good.
It should be avoided,
But you observe in every YouTube this reel, every devotee is putting background music.
Achha.
So if in Katha someone is putting background music, this is my question from
Yeah, I mean, okay, you can put some background, but the content should remain the same, This is not that. We can try in Bhakti Yoga class also. So, I mean, there are certain norms. This is a Bhagavad Katha committee, and there are certain norms are there. Okay, that norm should be followed. But Prabhupada always stresses Nityam Bhagavat Sevya.
Right now, some congregation devotees also hearing some outside Babaji's this reels and everything producing, like Preman Maharaj is very famous. Right now, they are also quoting from that, like Prabhuji, there is no sin in eating onion and garlic. So, like very difficult to tell them that they are not in Aman Parampara or what they are telling. So how can pacify them, Prabhuji?
Education and training, You have to educate them and train them. What is right, what is wrong, how Prabhupada is, bona fide. So we can only educate and train them. Rest is their will, Everyone wants something cheap, very quick. So we can tell them what is right, what is wrong, and let them decide. And what else we can do? We should do our duty to give them the right thing. Okay. And especially those who are our leaders, we should really train them. Right? What do you say, Vijayendra Krishna Prabhu?
Sorry, Vijay, I couldn't concentrate.
He's asking that now his congregation devotees are hearing from outside ISKCON, how to stop them.
Or I think Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Unless they develop affinity for the higher speakers, like good speakers within ISKCON, Prabhupada says like higher taste replaces the lower taste. So like there are many devotees in the ashram who have got tremendous affinity to hear from Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj. One can have Radha Govind Swami Maharaj, Bhagavad Gita is so delicious. So that by developing Katha Ruchi for these speakers, one won't be inclined.
Yeah, very good. And we'll tell them, we'll educate them also. What is right, what is bona fide, what is not bona fide. And then let them decide. Yeah. Okay. Right, Prabhu? Yeah. So, previous writer is saying that one can get rid of the misconception of I and mine by serving that Parasmin, Lord, who is beyond time and Maya. Now, who is that? And how should we serve that? This is being explained in 4-5 verses. Okay. Atma Tattva Vishuddhartham Yadaha Bhagavan Ritam Brahmane Darshayan Rupam Avyalika Vritadrita. Yes.
O King, the personality of Godhead, being very much pleased with Lord Brahma because of his non-decisive penance in Bhakti Yoga.
Non-deceptive
penance in Bhakti Yoga, presented his eternal and transcendental form before Brahma. And that is the objective goal for purifying the conditioned soul.
So now, second question, what is the difference between the body of the Lord and the body of the Jiva? Okay. Now we'll read verse 5. Okay. Sadidevo jagatam paro guru swadesh namastaya siksha eksta tamnadya gachad drishmetra sammatam prapancha nirmana vidhiryaya bhavet. Yes. Translation?
Lord Brahma, the first spiritual master,
Lord Brahma, the first spiritual master, supreme in the universe, could not trace out the source of his lotus seat, and while thinking of creating the material world, he could not understand the proper direction for such creative work, nor could he find out the process for such creation.
Yes. 6. Sachintayan dvayaksharam ekadambasi apshranod dvirgatitam vacho vibhu sparshesu yat shodasham ekavinsha nishkinchinanam nipyadhanam vidu.
While thus engaged in thinking in the water, Brahmaji heard twice from nearby two syllables joined together. One of the syllables was taken from the 16th and the other from the 21st of the Sparsh alphabets, and both joined to become the wealth of the original struggle of life.
Yes. 8, 7. Nishamya tadvaktra didaksha adisho viloke tatranyada pashyamana swadeshyamana sthaya vimrishya taditam tapasvi upadeshti vadhane mana.
When we heard the sound, he tried to find the speaker, searching on all sides. But when he was unable to find anyone besides himself, he thought it wise to sit down on his lotus seat firmly and give his attention to the execution of penance as he was instructed.
Yes. So this is 8th verse. Divyam sahasrabdamo darshno jitnilatma vijito atma bhyo indriya atapyasma khela lokatapnam tapas tapiyans tapatam samahita.
Lord Brahma underwent penance for 1000 years. By the calculation of the demigods, he heard this transcendental vibration from the sky. He accepted it as divine. Thus, he controlled his mind and senses, and the penance he executed were great lesson for the living entities. Thus, he is known as the greatest of all ascetics.
Yeah. So these Prabhupada has given very powerful purpose for these 5 verses. So what we'll do is we'll make groups and study these purports in groups and take out some important points. Right? So we make 5 groups. How many devotees are there? Yeah, Prabhu? 22. Okay. So 5 पंच तत्व का ग्रुप बनाए चैतन्य 4 ग्रुप बन जाएंगे ना चैतन्य नित्यानंद ऐसे घूम जाए ठीक है ऐसे कितने कितने हो गए 5 आप यहाँ आ जाओ 6 हो जाएंगे ना यहाँ 4 या 5 रहेंगे ग्रुप में आप यहाँ आ जाइए प्रभु जगत जी आप आ जाइए 4 चौथे आप ही हैं
Like Brahma was looking in all 4 directions, so it's 4 is it correct?
Yeah. आप में कितने हैं प्रभु जी आपके साथ आप में 4 आप में 4 यहाँ एक आ जाइए प्रभु जी आपके 5 हैं वन ऑफ यू कम हेयर यहाँ ओके सो 4 के 5 ग्रुप्स बन गए राइट ओके so we'll start from here. This is Chaitanya group. You can go through verse 4. Nityan group, verse 5. Dhirgaur Prabhu. Your Advaita Acharya group. Advaita Acharya is there. Verse 6. And your Kadadhar group, verse 7. And this is Shiva's group, verse 8. So go through it scrutinizingly. Take out some important teachings, lessons. Yeah. So you have 5 to 7 minutes. One verse only. Done. Advaita Acharya group हो गया. Done. Last 2 groups हो गया. Okay, very good. We'll come back to our position. Okay, so we'll start with this group. They will enlighten us about verse number 4. You see? So you see, we'll stop discussion now. We'll hear from groups. Yes, Prabhu. So let's hear from you.
Hare Krishna, in this verse it is explained that generally people have misconception about, they think that material body and the soul are same, both are same. And they have also misconception that spirit soul and super soul, they are also same. But Prabhupada gives one analogy that in the proper sunlight one can see that world and everything clearly. In the same way, means in darkness they can't see, but in light they can see. In the same way, when we have spiritual knowledge, we are not in mode of ignorance. Then we can see clearly that jiva is different, material body is different, and the super soul is different. And in second paragraph, it is explained that we are also Sachidanand. We have material body which is not Sachidanand, but Lord is Sachidanand. By Bhakti Yoga only, we can come to that stage of Sat, Chit and Anand. And at last it is explained that by hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam is also part of Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah, good. Very nice. And now last paragraph it is also written, last parts. Srimad Bhagavatam is also performance of Bhakti Yoga, and one can attain the highest perfection simply by association of Srimad Bhagavatam. Both Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj attained perfection through the medium of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So Bhagavatam means associating with Krishna. Okay. So here the example is given of Brahmaji. Brahmaji, by hearing from the Lord, he got beyond the Maya. His all misconceptions were clarified. Similarly, we can also come out of misconceptions by associating with Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atma Tattva Vishuddhartham. So everything will be purified. Our knowledge will be purified. Thank you. Hare Bol. Yes, group number 5.
Hare Krishna. So in this particular verse 5, we come to know that generally we see that people try to gain the perfect knowledge by their own efforts, but it's a futile attempt and waste of time. Prabhupada concludes with this, and he elaborates
Please.
how even the first spiritual master of this universe, the first living entity Brahma, he himself could not understand his own source of origin. He could not understand how this creation will be there and the process of creation. Even before Brahma, Prabhupada says that the Lord existed and the spiritual planet Vaikuntha existed, and only by the devotional service when Brahma performed, he could understand the Lord and he could then understand everything else. And then Vedesh Sarve Ramayava Vedam, all the Vedas conclude that if Krishna is known, then everything else will be perfectly known.
Anything else?
Our path is the process of grace.
Our path is process of grace. Yes, that's a very important point. So if you see in the second paragraph, Prabhupada is writing in the third line, the power of creation by Lord Brahma was also achieved by Bhakti Yoga. Brahmaji was bewildered in the matter of creation and he could not even trace out the source of his own existence. But all this knowledge was fully achieved by him through the medium of Bhakti Yoga. By Bhakti Yoga, one can know the Lord, and by knowing the Lord as a supreme, one is able to know everything else. It's very important. Sometimes we are given such tasks and we don't have any knowledge. Okay? But we attract the mercy of the Lord, we can know everything. Even the first spiritual master in the universe was enlightened by the grace of the Lord. So who else can attain perfect knowledge of everything without the mercy of the Lord? If anyone desires to seek perfect knowledge of everything, he must seek the mercy of the Lord. There is no other means. Okay. So we should have this kind of faith. Like Prabhupada, when he was writing Krishna book, he told his disciples to do the painting of Krishna pastimes. They were saying, Prabhupada, we don't know anything. You know what Prabhupada, how Prabhupada empowered them? Prabhupada said, just chant 16 rounds attentively and start painting. They just chanted and then read the story and started painting. What wonderful paintings came out. So we should have complete faith. So when we are given some task, we are given some service, we don't know how to proceed. So we should take shelter of the holy name. We should take shelter of deities, pray to them. Then Krishna will give us the ideas, and then we can come to know everything. Then Krishna will approach this person. You have to learn this skill. Then we can learn also. Everything will be clarified. So Brahmaji also, he says the creation also happened by Bhakti Yoga. Creation is such a complicated thing. Which living entity has to be put in which body, in which planet. Visarga is also complicated. So, but Brahmaji could achieve that. It started by Bhakti Yoga. So that's how Bhakti creation started with Bhakti Yoga. So to seek knowledge on the strength of one's personal attempt is a sheer waste of time. Okay, it is also part of humility to admit I do not know this. It's a part of the humility to seek knowledge from others, to take help from others. So that's how. If we just depend on our own, strength that I'll get the knowledge, then it's a sheer wastage of time. Impersonalists have this. They depend on their own skills. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Maharaj gives us a story. You must have heard that, of a son-in-law going to his in-laws for the first time. You heard of that story? The son-in-law, after marriage, he was going to his in-laws' village. So his wife told him, better to ask, let me ask my father what is the address. Well, no, I'll just go, I'll reach. No need to ask anyone. I will go my own. So when he landed on the station, he was not aware where to go. But he was very proud, I can search on my own. Then all of a sudden, outside the station, he saw the bull. And he could identify, this is the bull of my father-in-law. Okay. So this bull will take me to the house. So what he did, he caught hold of the tail of the bull. When he caught hold of the tail of the bull got agitated. So the bull started running. He more tightly caught hold of the tail. The bull got more agitated. He started running more faster and faster. And then he was dragging him all through the path, full of thorns, full of stones. All through his body was blood. Blood was there. And the bull was running. And he reached his home, father-in-law's home. And then the in-laws saying, someone is trying to steal our bull. So they started beating. And then he cried, I am your son-in-law. So the Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Maharaj gives this conclusion. The path of impersonalism, this is not the path of grace. They don't seek help. They don't seek mercy from others. They depend on their own strength. So their journey as well as destination is troublesome. The whole journey also, it was troublesome. And when he reached also, then also he was beaten. But right from the beginning, if we take the path of grace, if we seek mercy, perform Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga will give us everything. Even if we don't have knowledge of anything, by Bhakti Yoga we can get the knowledge of everything. Okay, that way is the point. Even creation started by Bhakti Yoga. So what to talk about small services, right? Okay, verse number 6. Where is that? Who'll speak?
In this verse, Prabhupada is giving stress to tapa or penance.
Yeah.
So he's saying for devotees, actually for every human being, there is no other business other than tapa. And that is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. Like every devotee who's in ISKCON is doing this tapa of at least 4 regular principles and chanting 16 rounds. So that is why he is able to progress towards going back to Godhead. Like in the last line, Srila Prabhupada is saying, tapasya is actually, it's a means it helps us in going back to Godhead. Because devotee is performing tapasya, so he is getting this opportunity to go back. And one statement here is, by tapasya only one can get the profit of human life. So anywhere, even outside in job, a person has to do some kind of penance to get profit in his working environment. Similarly, devotee also has to do tapasya to get greater profits in human life. And one of that profit is that by performing tapasya, the disciple comes nearer to the spiritual master. Like here, Prabhupada gives the example of Upanayan, bringing the disciple nearer to spiritual master. So, like the statement, taking the path of tap is the second birth of desiring disciple. So, when one accepts this tapasya, like for example, the initiation tapasya, that he has accepted, I will follow the four regulative principles and I will chant 16 rounds. He accepted this tapasya, he got the second birth. Similarly, Brahma, when he did this tapasya, he came closer to Krishna and Krishna initiated him. He got darshan of Krishna actually. So when a devotee or a disciple performs tapasya, then he gets this opportunity to come closer to his spiritual master and ultimately to Krishna. And then the last line is very striking, where Srila Prabhupada says, one who is thus initiated in the disciplic succession is able to achieve the same result or the power of creation. Just like Brahma, because of his tapa, he got this power of creation. So we have seen how Srila Prabhupada created spiritual world on this planet by his power of tapasya. Like he followed it 40 years and he also did his chanting and regulative principles and he created spiritual world on this planet. Because he did greater tapasya than us. We are doing small tapasya like chanting and four regulative principles. He did much greater tapasya and he got much greater power of creation.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Very important points. So, like, Prabhupada is stressing that when we perform tapasya, we get the second birth. Taking the path of tapa is the second birth of the desiring disciple. So, real tapasya for all of us is to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. Brahmaji followed the instructions, tapa, he followed that. And he was initiated in the 18 Gopal mantra. So he performed that tapasya. As a result of that tapasya, he could have the darshan of the Lord. Similarly, Prabhupada is saying, if we get this mantra by disciplic succession, and by chanting this mantra, our Gayatri mantra, our Hare or the Maha mantra, we can also have the darshan of the Lord. So real tapasya is to follow the instruction of the Lord, instruction of Guru. And this tapasya is saying it is the beauty and wealth of the Brahmanas. It is beauty and the wealth of the Brahmanas. And Shabri, the story of Shabri. When Lord Ram met Shabri, so Lord Ram said very interesting thing to Shabri. He said, Kachite nirjita vigna, kachite vartite tapa, kachite niyate krodha, arascha tapodhane. In the story of Shabri, Shabri was told by his spiritual master Matang Rishi that Lord is about to come, and he departed to the spiritual world. And Shabri was all alone in the ashram for 13 years. And his guru has told her that Lord Ram is going to come. Okay. When he didn't tell. So every day Shabri used to get up, clean the ashram, collect fruits and flowers for welcoming Lord Ram, but Lord Ram never came. Every day again, next day again, next day again. For 13 years continuously she was doing that. And she was all alone in the ashram. Just imagine. So easy to lose faith in the words of the spiritual master. Lord Ram will come. When will come? No. Everyone went back. He also went back. He took his disciple also. Just left Shabri. You just be here and wait for Lord Ram to come. She was waiting, every day cleaning ashram, collecting fruits and flowers for welcoming Lord Ram. And one day he arrived. Okay. Just imagine how she must have felt. And seeing Shabri, the Lord was so pleased. The Lord asked, okay, Kachite nirjita vigna. He called her tapodhane, the wealth. Yes. She has a wealth of tapasya. He says, Kachite nirjita vigna. Is your the tapasya is being performed without any obstacles? And Kachite vardhite tapa. Are you increasing your tapasya? Kachite niyata krodha. Are you able to control your anger? Aharasya tapodhane. Are you able to control your desire to taste good things? Ahar, tasty things. Who is asking this? Lord. So it's a very good lesson for all of us sadhakas. We should also keep on asking ourselves, Kachite nirjita vigna. Is there any obstacle in performing of my tapasya? What are the obstacles? Am I able to overcome those obstacles? Am I increasing my tapasya? Am I able to control my anger? Am I able to control my desires to taste delicious things? So that was the thing. So tapasya is the wealth of Brahmanas. Tapasya is the wealth of the renounced order. So more we perform tapasya, more we get purified, and then more we become, that is said, near to the Lord. We become near to the Lord. And the greatest tapasya for us is to chant the holy name attentively, to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. If we take the instruction of the spiritual master to our heart and follow those instructions rigidly, that is the tapasya. So that will please the Lord. Okay. I think we'll stop here. Any discussion? Then tomorrow the groups can elaborate. Any questions on so far what we discussed on these 3 verses? Yeah.
Thanks for giving the example of Shabri. Just meditating like more than 4,700 times she prepared herself. But then she got Lord Ram.
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of eagerness.
Yes.
Even in decimal system we don't have.
Yeah.
So how we will attend Krishna then?
Yeah. So only thing is,
kind of eagerness which she had and we had.
Because all that eagerness, all the strength was coming, she was fully convinced my spiritual master is bona fide, and the words of the spiritual master. We don't have that kind much of confidence, We start having doubts. पता नहीं बोल दिया गुरुजी ने, पता नहीं क्यों बोल दिया, कैसे बोल दिया, So like Satsvarup Maharaj is writing, when Prabhupada is asking his disciples to print whole of Chaitanya Charitamrita in 3 months. So Rameshwar Prabhu Maharaj was there, Radha Vallabh Maharaj was there. They say impossible. Prabhupada said impossible is the word in the dictionary of the fools. And they worked whole day and night and they were able to print Chaitanya Charitamrita in 3 months. And there Satsvarup Maharaj is writing in Prabhupada Leelamrit, they amended their lives to execute the orders of the spiritual master. They change their lives. We do the reverse. We change the orders of the spiritual master to adjust into our lives. So they adjusted their lives to fulfill the order of the spiritual master. We adjust the order of the spiritual master to suit our lives, our lifestyle. Okay. So one should be ready to change his lifestyle to adjust the order of the spiritual master, to execute the order of the spiritual master.
Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, he went to Gita Nagari and he committed them that after 3 months we have opening of temple and we will send altars. And then he telephoned me and said that we have to make 2 altars, one for DT altar, one for Prabhupada altar. And you have 3 months. One altar takes 4 months time.
Oh my God.
So I was completely heartbroken, how will it go? But Abhasharangu had that kind of faith. So, okay, Guru Maharaj is committed, now there is no possibility of taking his birth back. We should try our best. And he did that.
Yesterday he was telling me that. This is how we have a living example, So small things. If we take the instructions of the spiritual master very seriously, so this is our tapasya. If we perform this tapasya, then we are pleasing Guru and Krishna. And then, like Brahmaji got all the powers, we'll also get all the powers. Okay. Right. Thank you. Jai. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, in purport, one point was there. Yasmin Vigyate Saram ev Vigyatam Bhavati.
Yeah.
You gave an example also of painting.
Yeah.
So in base also sometimes student take the center of holy name. They chant more and more rounds, but they don't study. Saram e Vigyatam Bhavati, but it doesn't happen like that.
It should have the sanction of their mentor, senior devotee. If you have told them, okay, chant extra rounds, then you will come to know everything. Then it will happen, but you won't tell that. Prabhupada told them because it's coming from the words of pure devotee. So it happened. We cannot take that chance. Okay, right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.